Throughout Geometry Dash's history, players have battled against each other, and against themselves, to try to beat some of the hardest levels the game has ever seen. From version 1.9 days with levels like the Ultimate Phase and Bloodbath, all the way to the current days of Geometry Dash, these players have been grinding since the very beginning. However, with a group of determined individuals, you'll find a handful of players trying to take shortcuts. There have been countless ways to cheat and hack in Geometry Dash, whether it's using hacks to make it impossible to die, or using invisible auto so the level plays itself. There have been many different ways to showcase yourself, beating a level illegitimately. However, back in the earlier days of Geometry Dash, these hacking methods were not as well known as they are today, and so they were easier to get away with. Many well-respected players at the time would eventually turn out to be cheaters, and they would lose a lot of respect from the community. You may be asking, why was it so important if someone was hacking? Well, there are a few different reasons. Most importantly, because it could be seen as a little disrespectful to the other players that are actually working hard to beat these levels legit, while a hacker is quietly cheating his way to the top and getting views off of it as well. A perfect example of this would be the recent Space UK situation, where he got exposed for hacking many of his big achievements, leaving the players around him disappointed. But back to the original point, hacking in Geometry Dash wasn't exactly something that was thought about back then, and there wasn't really any question on whether the top players were legit. Even when suspicion would begin to rise with players like Riot and Cyclic, people didn't really know how to tell whether their gameplay was legit or not. Even players like Nubass and Andromeda, who are seen as extremely talented players and creators, were very well respected within the community. But, as 1.9 was ready to come to an end, a small and unknown YouTuber would publish one single YouTube video that would change the Geometry Dash community forever, and send some of these players crashing down. Consider subscribing if you do enjoy the video. Thank you. On February 11th, 2015, a YouTuber by the name of The Mute Troll would upload one of the most influential videos that the Geometry Dash community has ever seen. Here, The Mute Troll explains a seemingly new concept to the community at the time, speed hacking, which is where players use an external application or mod to slow the game down to make certain movements easier. The recorded footage is then sped up to give the illusion that the player is performing these movements at normal speed. But what is so special about this one video? What points does he make that makes his video so groundbreaking? Firstly, the Mute Troll picked his target, and the player was none other than Nubass, popular creator and demon grinder at the time. During his rise to fame, no one speculated a thing, but the Mute Troll made various points and arguments that are now standard when trying to expose a hacker in the Geometry Dash community. He first pointed out that in one of Nubass's completions, his video didn't have the level complete sound effect. The Mute Troll used this as proof for speed hacking, and here's why. At the time when you would speed hack a level, the music would slow down, but other sound effects wouldn't. And so if you sped up your footage to normal speed, the level complete sound effect would actually play at a faster speed than normal. Nubass then had to edit out the level complete sound to avoid any speculation, and he blamed it on a simple glitch. The next point that the Mute Troll makes is one that may be a little more familiar. He pulls up footage of Nubass completing the now easy demon Decode, which was considered an insane demon at the time. The Mute Troll declared Nubass's wave movements as inhumane, and pretty much impossible to pull off in normal speed. And this is actually the origin of the now famous meme in the Geometry Dash community, the "does this look possible to you" joke. The Mute Troll continues his video by demonstrating more impossible player movements that would only be possible at normal speed, and from there, Nubass was caught, confronted, and exposed for being a cheater. But who else did this video influence? Yeah, sure, it caught one pretty big player, but was it so revolutionary that it brought others down as well? The answer, well, yes, it sure did. As this commenter suggests, it brought up the exposal of almost all GD hackers, from Nubass to the legendary Cyclic. Cyclic was another famous player and talented creator in the GD community. He is responsible for one of the most famous extreme demons in the game's history, Sonic Wave. During the 1.9 days, he had a legendary rivalry with fellow player Riot, verifier of Bloodbath, who also had a huge influence on the Geometry Dash community. Both players were competing against each other for a very long time, but because the Mute Troll brought up a new concept to the Geometry Dash community, pressure started building up for Cyclic, and this caused Cyclic to confess to hacking in a YouTube video. And in the description, we see that he confesses to speed hacking his legendary level Sonic Wave. What was once an unfamiliar concept now began destroying the credibility of some of the game's biggest players, and it's all thanks to that one video. And so, the Mute Troll and his now incredibly popular discovery is the main reason why it's so incredibly difficult to get away with hacking in Geometry Dash, especially speed hacking.